The silence in the Bay right now isn't just quiet, it's deafening. Like the calm before a season-defining storm, each heartbeat echoing off the walls of Chase Center as Dub Nation collectively holds its breath. Welcome back to Warriors, News Fan Report, where raw truths collide with splash-era passion. Smash that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so your heart never misses a beat. Now, buckle up, because we're about to dive headfirst into the labyrinth of offseason. Tension that has turned the most storied franchise in modern basketball into the league's most gripping thriller. While the rest of the NBA blinks and shouts, trading stars and signing splashy free agents, the Warriors have maintained an almost monastic silence, as if they're studying some secret playbook only they can decipher, leaving rivals to wonder. What haunted whisper will emerge from Golden State's front office halls when the clock finally strikes move? At the center of this hush-hush saga is Jonathan Kuminga, a man who once represented the next great wave of Warriors domination. A 6'7" flame, throwing forward whose mere name conjured images of a new splash era, powered by untamed athleticism. But today, Kuminga's fate is anything but certain, with a camp asking for a jaw-dropping $30 million average salary and Golden State coyly circling with offers in the low $20 millions. The two sides stand locked in a high-stakes stare down that threatens to reshape the team's future. Imagine the tension. Kuminga, pacing in his hometown, eyes flicking across contract proposals that fall dramatically short, each email a bitter reminder that the organization that drafted him might not be the one to raise him into championship. Contention. Across the league, rival front offices linger on this impasse like wolves scenting fear. Yet for reasons only the Warriors know, no one has dared break the silent agreement that if you step too close, you might start a war with Dub Nation itself. Indeed, sources like Mark Stein have confirmed that the Warriors tabled a 2-year, $40 million deal that would have looked like a steal in most markets. In Golden State, it feels like a betrayal, a spark that could ignite another show. Me the money firestorm on social media and in the barbershops where fans recite Steph Curry lore like scripture. And yet, despite the deafening quiet, behind the scenes, the chess pieces keep shifting. Whispers of a midseason pivot, of a February trade rumor that swaps young promise for veteran calm, of an Al Horford Hail Mary swoop or a reunion with D'Anthony Melton to shore up the bench defense. Imagine the day those names finally break the silence. Horford in blue and gold, his veteran presence seeping into the locker room like a healing balm. Melton slipping back into the rotation with that trademark 3-and-D swagger. But there's a catch. Every veteran signing tightens the luxury tax noose. Every dollar spent now is a dollar less for the post-Kuminga rebuild. Every addition risks fracturing the delicate chemistry that propelled the Splash era's near-mythical runs. And while the Warriors contemplate these crossroads, Jonathan Kuminga remains a symbol of promise unfulfilled. One moment, he was the golden child imitated by highlight reels from the Mae Young Classic to the finals. The next, he's a contract holdout whose next landing spot might be anywhere but Oakland. So what's the play? Some insiders whisper that Kuminga could, with savvy timing, accept the Warriors' qualifying offer, park himself on the bench all season, and then cash in at the February trade deadline once the market thaws. It's a move that would preserve his leverage, but at what cost to his momentum and to his legacy in the Bay? Others suggest he might simply test free agency waters, daring the league to meet his price, confident that his flashes of brilliance will lure suitors hungry to gamble on untamed potential. Meanwhile, the Warriors front office sits in hush-hush strategy sessions, faces lit only by laptop screens, plotting not just the next move but the narrative. How to tell the world that they remain architects of their own fate, that the pulse of Dub Nation still beats loud beneath the veneer of inactivity. And why are they playing possum? The answer might lie in their DNA. This is a team that once rebounded from a 3-1 finals deficit, that turned the We Believe era into a blueprint for upstarts everywhere. So perhaps they're simply waiting for the perfect moment to pounce. to reveal a masterstroke that will silence doubters and shock the league. But with each passing day of silence, the question grows more urgent. Is this the calm before a glorious storm of blockbuster signing of Horford, a surprise trade for a third star, the reemergence of Draymond Green's defensive fury, or is it the ominous stillness before the team that forged dynasties finally concedes that its crown has slipped, that in a league of relentless evolution, time has caught up with even the mightiest? Ask yourself, if the Warriors can engineer a solution that marries veteran wisdom with youthful explosion, will we witness a rebirth that rivals the original Splash era? Or will we observe a somber realization that even the greatest champions must eventually pass the torch? And what of Steph Curry, the heart and soul of this franchise? How does he feel as the rumor mill churns around his name? As fans imagine him donning a new uniform beside LeBron James, fulfilling some fever dream of two legends colliding in golden harmony? The thought alone sends chills through every true believer, conjuring images of half-court buzzer beaters and record book rewrites. Yet, Curry's greatness has always been measured by adaptability. So if this summer marks not a breakdown but a bold pivot, expect him to master a new chapter, guiding a reconfigured roster through the storm with nothing but sheer will and unimaginable range. Meanwhile, as the speculators wheel and deal, one thing is certain. The soul of Dub Nation quivers on a knife's edge, caught between hope and dread, ready to erupt into a roar or a sigh. And that, my friends, is why we tune in, because the real championship isn't won on hardwood, but in the crucible of question marks, in the silent negotiations, and the seismic whispers that shape tomorrow's reality. So drop your unguarded takes in the comments. Will Kuminga sign on the dotted line or sail away to greener pastures? Will Golden State's stoic silence be the calm before a storm of signings that blows the title window wide open? Or is this the prelude to a dynasty's final act, a cliffhanger that ends not in triumph, but in the quiet fate of a fading legend? Whatever the answer, we'll be here heart in hand, eyes fixed on the Bay as the next move unfolds, live and unscripted. In the most riveting all-season thriller the NBA has ever known. If your blood's racing and your mind's spinning just like mine, hit me hard in the comments and tell me, do you think this standoff over Kuminga is the last breath of a dynasty gasping for air, or the spark that will light the fuse on a new Golden State saga that's even hotter than before? Because here's the truth, this isn't just a contract war. It's a flashpoint where everything the Splash era built suddenly feels fragile, raw, and achingly uncertain. We've been through this roller coaster before, remember, when we doubted the Splash Brothers in their first finals run, or when Draymond was just a fiery rookie nobody understood. This moment, it's a much higher stakes sequel where the stakes are evolution or extinction. The Warriors aren't just a team, they're a legacy in conflict. Steph's shadow looms huge, more than ever, because he's no longer just that thrilling scoring machine. We're talking about a future Hall of Famer who's battling Father Time and a fractured roster that's tethered more to nostalgia than to the relentless hunger that once drove them. Draymond's voice, that heartbeat of the defense, and the soul of the team's grit. It's been intense in private circles. Sources whisper about tension simmering between him and Kerr on just how much patience there is left for uncertain experiments and recreations of past glory. And then there's Kuminga, the wild card with the raw athleticism of a cornered line and the locker room optics of potential slipping through Golden State's hands. His camp demanding $30 million a year is less about vanity and more about staking a claim. He wants to build a legacy, not just cash a paycheck. But Golden State, facing hard salary cap choices after locking in Steph and pulling strings for key vets like Horford and maybe Melton, is playing it cold, strategic. It's chess, but the clock's running out and the silence from both camps feels more like a war zone than a waiting room. What if Kuminga holds out, betting on the market suddenly flipping during a chaotic trade deadline, and winds up miles from the Bay, leaving behind the fractured energy of a team struggling to find its heartbeat? Or what if this standoff detonates? A chain reaction, Steph doubling down on leadership, Wiggins rising from the shadows into a new, more assertive role. Moody sharpening his defense into a weapon that could finally fill the proverbial splash-era void. Can Kerr harness this dissonance in the locker room and alchemize it into the kind of underdog grit that defines champions? Or is this silence a sign the dynasty's foundation is cracking beneath our feet? The possibility of Horford joining is both comforting and haunting. He's a smart, steady presence. But does plugging that kind of veteran savvy mean we're settling for stabilizing rather than reloading for the elite title chase? The Warriors are caught between past and future, a balancing act of honoring the dynasty's iconic, record-shattering bombardment while wrestling with the brutal reality that the NBA is evolving faster than ever, with younger, hungrier teams circling the top like sharks smelling blood in the water. Mark Jackson once talked about feeling the city's pulse. Right now, the Bay is numb, waiting to exhale or explode. And every day without clarity feels like it ratchets the pressure higher, magnifies the stakes from the front office to the fans packing bars in Oakland and San Francisco, to the little kids who grew up watching their idols and dreaming of a splash-fueled miracle. The only certainty, no one wanted this offseason to unravel like this. We dreamed of smooth contract talks, seamless roster moves, that unmistakable sense of momentum fueling preseason hype. Instead, we're sitting on a powder keg where a single negotiation could detonate the roster's chemistry or set in motion a blockbuster realignment that reshapes the NBA's landscape. This also tests Steph Curry's legacy in a way we haven't. Seeing can he continue transcending the game with his lightning-quick handles, infinite range, and sharpshooter's mind while the supporting cast wobbles beneath him? Or will this chapter mark a bittersweet turning point where the greatest shooter of all time fights not just defenders, but the silent cracks forming around him? My gut tells me we're on the brink of seismic change, and whether that shakes the foundations of the Chase Center or cements a new dynasty, we're here to witness the raw, unfiltered truth as it unfolds. For every Dub Nation diehard who stood through the lows and cheered the glory banging on impossible, this is personal, a heart and soul crucible that tests our faith in ownership's vision, Kerr's coaching genius, and most crucially, the young core's will to rise from the ashes. So listen close, because the tension isn't just about Kuminga or contract talks. It's about identity, resilience, and the hunger that fuels greatness. The Warriors are a story that's never truly over. It just flips the script, demanding the next chapter be written in blood, sweat, and sheer will. This offseason silence is deafening, but watch closely. It might just be the calm right before the storm that reshapes everything. So now's the time. No holding back. Drop your hottest, rawest takes. Lay it all on the line for Dub Nation. Is this the final fall of the Splash era, or the Phoenix moment we've been dreaming of? I'm scouring every corner of the league, peeling back every rumor just like you, so meet me in the comments with your fire, your frustration, your undying heart. Because this isn't just basketball, it's our legacy, our identity, and the pulse of the Golden State Warriors. Let's get this conversation roaring like the Chase Center on game night. Are the new kids ready to step out of the shadows? Or will the Rockets continue this firestorm of retribution? I don't want soft takes or wishful thinking. I want raw, unfiltered passion and tough truths. Drop your hottest, most fiery, no-holds-barred takes in the comments below. I'll be right there, swallowing every word, ready to throw down every challenge. Because if there's one thing this team has taught us, it's that no matter how dark the night, Dub Nation's roar can still shake the very walls of the Chase Center. The question is, do we have that roar in us tonight?